You are a skilled hunter, adept, merciless, half cut with blood, as the best hunters are.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 PlayStation games that are absolutely deserving to get remastered. Now, for clarity, we're defining a remaster as a game that has seen visual and audio improvements, with perhaps some refinements in controls and performance.
Wait until they pass by, then get into the tunnels.
Number 10, Starhawk.
It all started with a spark. A flash of blue gold.
Starhawk was one of many PS3 games that just did not get as much love as it should have. A successor of the 2007 Warhawk remake, Starhawk blended the previous game's third-person shooter format with real-time strategy mechanics. While riddling enemies with bullets, you could drop structures from the sky to quickly establish a base and bring in allies. Unfortunately, Starhawk saw middling reviews and less than stellar commercial performance. A remaster with some visual touch-ups and smoother performance could renew interest in the game and may even serve as a jumping-off point for a new game with live service elements. Here's your Destiny 2, Sony.
And that's where we make our money. Cutter and I save claims, clean up the jobs others can't.
Number 9, Vagrant Story. Square Enix has a ton of unique RPGs stranded on older hardware, and one of the standouts that we'd love to see remastered is Vagrant Story. We can understand why some may struggle with this title, as Vagrant Story uses a battle system unlike most of Square Enix's titles. However, the environments and story are captivating enough to stick with the game and learn its mechanics as you go. Some may call for a remake, but for us, we wouldn't mind if Sony and Square Enix simply ported the PS1 original to modern hardware. Number 8, Killzone series.
We have been a broken nation, shunned, oppressed, and conquered by those we sought to escape.
Unfortunately, Guerrilla Games seems to have absolutely no interest in returning to Killzone ever again, and is dumping all time and energy into Horizon for some reason. If that's the case, can we at least get a Killzone collection of some kind? I mean, we already have Liberation on PS5, which looks and runs great, but the main 3 games? Well, the controls are a bit awkward compared to today's FPS games, and the fast-paced nature could greatly benefit from a frame rate boost. And besides, maybe we can get Killzone 2 to finally look like that concept demo Sony tried to pass off as a reveal trailer at E3 2005.
We must stand up to this barbarism. The world is watching, and they will see who is right.
Number 7, Parasite Eve. Okay, if we don't get a remaster of Vagrant Story, then we should at least get Parasite Eve brought to PS5. This game was unique in how it blended horror with RPG mechanics, creating a rather unique experience. Alas, Parasite Eve has fallen by the wayside with only a couple of sequels. With RPGs being way more popular than ever before, there's plenty of reason to bring this PS1 gem back from the grave. We only hope that Square Enix doesn't try to overcharge us like they did with the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, or change the score like they did with Final Fantasy VII's Steam release. Number 6, Twisted Metal. Word has come and gone about Twisted Metal returning in some capacity, and at this point, who knows what's really happening. But if we could just get one Twisted Metal, can we at least get a remaster of the PS3 game? Some players may not be too crazy with the game's cardboard-like physics, however, this was the best game in the series in terms of the amount of vehicles you could drive and how expansive and explosive every map was. Twisted Metal's story mode was also arguably the most ambitious in the franchise, with its tighter focus and captivating cutscenes. Plus, if the power of the PS5 means we can play this at 60 frames per second, the driving will feel way better than it did 2 generations ago.
She was the only one who ever escaped. She was the one that got away.
Number 5, God of War Ascension.
What's wrong? You seem confused, Kratos. Having trouble remembering our special time together?
The first 2 God of War games don't need touch-ups, and since they're PS2 games, they'll eventually make their way to PS5. God of War Ascension will be the only game in the franchise not playable on modern hardware. What's worse is that the game fluctuates in frame rate on PS3, which isn't ideal for a combat-heavy game such as this. A simple boost in tech could get Ascension running a lot smoother, and the PS5 is more than capable of helping achieve that.
The hard part is over, Spartan. You have committed the ultimate sacrifice.
Number 4, Heavenly Sword.
I was born from my mother's dying body, and my people wept.
Before God of War Ascension, Heavenly Sword was showcasing the power of PlayStation 3 and what action games could do and look like on the system. A couple decades later, it still plays well, sure, but could definitely use some touch-ups. If remastered for PlayStation 5, Heavenly Sword could see better clarity and textures, as well as a more acceptable frame rate. Heck, just the frame rate increase alone could show people why folks were raving over this game back in the day. Unfortunately, the Sony we have today simply does not see value in the IP, and developer Ninja Theory even admitted that Heavenly Sword made no money and failed to break even.
Shen. He has always been my tutor first, and my father second.
Number 3, Resistance series.
No one knows exactly how Hale was infected by the Chimeran virus. Our only clue is a journal entry recovered from the body of a US medic.
Insomniac may be known for Ratchet & Clank and the litany of Marvel games they're belting out, but Resistance is the most obscure IP in their library. Despite 4 of the 5 games in the franchise seeing resounding critical praise, the series wasn't as commercially successful as revisionist PlayStation fans try to make it seem. So we can understand why Sony isn't going back to the well with this FPS. However, if Sony and Insomniac were to throw together a collection of the main trilogy with visual and technical enhancements, that's definitely something we'd throw $60 at. I know I would. Who knows, maybe it'd be enough to give the franchise a second chance now that PlayStation is way bigger than it was 2 decades ago.
Susan.
Joe. Oh. I thought I lost you.
I'm okay.
Number 2, Infamous and Infamous 2.
Tell me what happened. Okay.
Thanks to its PS4 Pro patches, Infamous Second Son and Infamous First Light play tremendously well on PS5 as they run at buttery smooth 60 frames per second. As for the Cole McGrath duology, they are both stranded on PS3 with definite choppy performance. Now, don't get us wrong, we love these games too. However, if we were to get remasters for both of these on PS5, it'd be a lot easier to sell people on how great these two were. Infamous and its sequel featured thrilling combat with Cole's lightning powers and weaved its karma mechanics with the story very well. But with awkward aiming controls and chugging frames, yeah, these would definitely and greatly benefit from something like that on the PlayStation 5.
Maybe those monster images will expose a weakness. Don't lose that camera, man.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Bloodborne.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
It should go without saying, but Bloodborne is in desperate need of a remaster, more so than The Last of Us or Horizon. Even though the frame rate is a bit smoother on a PlayStation 4 Pro, the game still runs in such a horrid state that it's becoming way harder to advocate for this game than ever before. Bloodborne is a tremendous game. Between the environments and haunting enemies, this truly was one of From Software's best games. Players were so enamored with this dark, dismal world that Bloodborne would sell more than 7 million copies by 2022. So why hasn't Sony invested in a PS5 port, a PC port, or even a small update that lets the game run at 60 frames on better hardware is definitely beyond us.
Turn back, for the hunter will face the hunt.
So which PlayStation game would you like to see remastered? Let us know in the comments below.
And this time, I'm going to finish what I started.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.